Tujikaze, tujikaze, jikaze. Tujikaze, tujikaze, jikaze. Africa, tujikaze, tujikaze, jikaze. America, tujikaze, tujikaze, jikaze.
You are listening to African Father in America podcast by Simon Javan Okello, live from Seattle, Washington.
Thank you for being here with us for another amazing session of the Daily African Proverbs. My name is Simon Javan Okello, and I am in Seattle, Washington. I'm coming to you live and direct from Seattle, Washington, but I'm from Kisumu, Kenya. I grew up right by Lake Victoria, and I am from the Luo tribe. We used to eat a lot of fish growing up. But today's proverb is from Chad, the Republic of Chad, and the proverb says, "Only when a tree is big and strong can you tether a cow to it." Only when a tree is big and strong can you tether a cow to it. Remember, we are live streaming this conversation on YouTube. My YouTube channel is Simon Javan Okello, and feel free to subscribe. We have episodes of the previous conversations that have also been shared over there. And this session is also being recorded for the African Father in America podcast. So you can always catch previous conversations on all podcasting platforms. And today's proverb is also my latest Instagram post. So you can engage with it over there. I will be live tweeting in the course of our conversation as well. Yesterday's session was really, really special. We had the privilege of hosting Zizi, who is, here with us at the moment. And Zizi, is an author, an award-winning author, a best-selling author, and she's a young elder, an elder who is young at heart. And nice to see you, Zizi. We went through, we had an amazing conversation with Zig. It was the Daily African Proverbs, but it was held in the African Wisdom Club. And that club typically hosts authors and journalists and activists and, film directors. So Zizi, we were going through Zizi's latest book. We were reading some excerpts from it, and her book is titled Rhapsody of Love. So check it out and connect with Zizi. She's down there. When I looked at today's proverb, only when a tree is big and strong can you tether a cow to it. It reminded me of my own situation at the moment. I have a lot of great things going on for me, but I also have a lot of challenges tied to these great things. And, when someone is observing the things I am working on, both here on Clubhouse and also in person, as well as the information I share on other platforms, I'm always very direct and open with most of the things I do, in my life. And so, then there are people that also then present to you opportunities to help them with their own things, opportunities to be a part of the things that they're doing, so that I can leverage my network and the resources I have access to support other people who are trying to, make progress in their life, and also help with the changing of the narrative about Africa, because that's really the driving force in regards to who I am. So then sometime I realized that I still need to grow. And if I were a tree, I need to become a little big and strong before a cow, before another opportunity, before another opportunity or complexity is added to my life. So one of the ways I'm learning to do that is to say no to a lot of opportunities lately, but also to have a sense of I don't care, even though I know that I have a lot of emails I need to respond to right now, but I know that the most important thing is to take care of I have a family member who was recently diagnosed with with cancer. So I have to step in regards to taking care of our kids more than I would have normally done. So that is important than emails. There are so many opportunities that I have a sense of fear of missing out on. But then when I look at what is occupying my time, I feel good. I'm learning to grow and become a tree that is big and strong, that then when those opportunities come, I'll be able to hold them and be a good steward of those opportunities. So when we come here in the Daily African Proverbs, we are here because we want to make our African ancestors proud, and we want to make them smile by dissecting one proverb at a time and changing the narrative of Africa one day at a time. So I'm going to, invite you all who are in the audience to join us on stage. Just raise your hands. If it gets to 6:30, we are going to turn off hand raising on Clubhouse, but the comments on Instagram are still open, the chats on YouTube are still open, and the DMs are still open. We just want to continue building this amazing community from across the world that value African culture, especially African proverbs. So, we cannot do this without you all. And also, this space is always open to everyone. It doesn't matter what religion you associate with, what country you are currently based in, or what you ate, or how much money you have in the bank. We're just here to make our ancestors proud. With that, I want to introduce the wonderful Levia, Kojo, Alor, and Levia is a huge supporter of the Daily African Proverbs. She's based in London. She's a poet, she's a singer, she's a sword swallower, who is probably the most courageous person than Boniface Mwangi, who I have a lot of love and respect for. But she's also a writer, and she's a wonderful human of so many talents. Please, Levia, share with us your interpretation of today's proverb from Chad. And the proverb says, "Only when a tree is big and strong can you tether a cow to it." And also guide the conversation by introducing our next two guests, please. Thank you, Levia.
Hi, Simon. It's really nice to hear your voice, and welcome everybody who joined us in the room today for the Daily African Proverbs. Thank you, Simon, for everything you do, and you always show up every day. I have a lot of respect for you too. And our proverb today is interesting. When I read it, only when a tree is big and strong, you can tether a cow to it. I had to think about, right. So if you bind the big cow to a skinny tree, the cow will just pull it and the tree will bend it or break. And thinking about what this means, I had to think a little bit. We can only nurture someone else in the right way if we have taken care of ourselves properly. So being courageous, being strong, being healthy takes a lot of self-care and a lot of self-love to get into a good place where we then can take on apprentices or children or helping people around us. And there's this interesting saying. My friend is a flight attendant, and it reminded me of when you sit in the plane and they explain to you what's happening when you have an emergency. You can get your life vest here, and your exits are there. It always says, in case of the oxygen masks falling down from the cupboard above, put yours on first before you put one onto your neighbor or onto your child. And I think this is really the essence for me of it. If we don't care for ourselves, nurture and love ourselves, we can't take people with us and help them along the way. This is what I'm getting from this proverb. And with that being said, I would like to introduce our first guest to our stage. It's Glenn. And Glenn has, there is loads in the bio. Sorry, I had to just swipe up properly. Glenn is a visual storyteller, model, blogger, publicist, style and brand influencer, featured on Vogue, the Tether, and BBC Africa. So I'm very, very grateful to be able to introduce you to our stage, and I'm sure the whole room is very, very curious to hear your interpretation of our proverb today. Glenn, the floor is yours. Okay, Glenn, can you hear us?
Hey, Levia, this is Simon.
Yes.
You know, when I opened the room, Clubhouse brought Glenn straight away to the stage, and this has happened. This has happened a few times with people who have attended the room before, but I would also love to hear from Glenn. So let's give him a moment. Let's keep going to our dear brother Ron. Thank you so much.
Of course. So, Glenn, if you can hear us and you would like to contribute, just flash your mic whenever you're ready, and we will give you some space to talk. Ron is the next up on stage, and yes, Ron is a filmmaker, and we have met before, of course. Ron says he's been making films around the world since studying as an exchange student at the University of Nairobi, Kenya, which opened my awareness to Africa and its wisdom and cultures. We counter the negative images and information that mainstream media proliferates. Our film speaks to the heart, bringing humanity together. Traveled all throughout East and North Africa, grandfather and father of a multiculti family. So Ron, the floor is yours. We're very interested and curious for your interpretation today.
Good morning. Glad to be here. Thank you for the introduction, and thank you, Simon, sending love and healing to your family member. And just wanted to share that I see this proverb as, you know, a cow and cattle is our lifeline. Working with the Maasai in central Tanzania, you see that their whole life is centered around, and their whole wealth and everything they do is around their cattle. So, if we're going to latch on to something, it better be have a great foundation. And for me, one of the great teachings I learned in Africa is the importance of our ancestors. So when I'm starting something new, I always try and honor, or if I'm in a new place, I try and connect with the ancestors of that place, and also have them connect with my own ancestors, because they're my foundation. They're what's running in my blood, in my whole life, in my being, from generation to generation. The struggles that they dealt with, I might be dealing with as well. So, connecting to that foundation is where our healing comes from, as well as their healing and our children's healing. So, thank you. And I'm done speaking.
Thank you, Ron, so much for your wisdom and talking about the foundations. Yes, there is also that what you said just reminded me of something that's been said during the Africa Day celebrations, that we are, as Africans, have to work on our foundations and on the roots that are in the ground to grow stronger. So, yeah, that's beautiful. All right, thank you so much. And next on our stage is Zizi. And yes, we had like this amazing room yesterday, which was honoring Zizi's life story. And it was such a beautiful room, and it was so profound to like the things that have been said that Zizi said were profound, and I took a lot away from that room yesterday. Unfortunately, I couldn't speak because I was in a very, very noisy background area. I had my headphones on so I could listen properly, but I just wanted to say, Zizi, that I really enjoyed listening to you. It was a pleasure and also a privilege to hear your story, and all the love you received yesterday in the room was really, really beautiful to listen, to watch how people honored you and sent you lots of love your way. And yes, that was very beautiful, and I want to say that I really loved it, and you are loved, and we are very grateful that you are with us. And it's really nice to see you today again. And I'm just going to say a little bit for Zizi. Zizi says, I am Egyptian Canadian, educated in the USA. I am a retired clinical psychologist and spiritual healer of 35 years of experience. And Zizi is also now a 3 times international best-selling author, spiritual poet. And the floor is yours, Zizi, for our proverb today.
Thank you very much, everybody. I'm basking in your love. It's going to last me quite a bit. I I guess I was very excited yesterday. I could feel it. I had to be in bed all day after. So thank you very much for your love and caring. And it's a pleasure for me to be among you. That's where I get my love and the hugs. Although virtual, but they still are hugs. As far as this tree, I really look at it spiritually. And I disagree with Simon for the first time. I think he is that big tree spiritually. But I agree with him. He has to say no. And he has to prioritize, and he has to prioritize his family as number one, no question. He is the tree and around which Africa is tying itself. So sometimes spiritually we could be a tree, whether it's small or big, but it can collect all the goodness so that people, just like leadership, that tree is hugging Simon and anybody who wants to do goodness in this world. So I look at the tree as a spiritual connection, and you are so lucky to have somebody like Simon and all the great people you have in your community, like Kikombe and the rest of you. And Levia, I missed you, and I'm glad to see you here today. And I'm glad to see my daughter Bibi down here as well. So she adopted me as her mom as well. So I love you all. You're all my children. Thank you.
Thank you, Zizi, for your words. And yes, it's nice to be missed as well. Thank you. But I was there yesterday, and I love that you said that you are seeing the tree as spiritually. I'm a very literal person, as most of people in the room know. I always take the proverbs very literal and apply them to a direct experience in life. And it's always nice. That's why I like coming here, because of all the different interpretations. I have one view when I come into the room, and I have a lot broader idea about each proverb when I leave. And I'm sure a lot of us feel the same. And it's beautiful to hear your interpretation and giving me a different perspective. I'm very grateful. And I want to say that, oh yes, before I give back to Simon, I wanted to say, Simon, yes, I'm very sorry to hear that your family has to go through this with someone having a cancer diagnosis. Is very hard, and it's very difficult to deal with things like that. And I know that you're a very strong person. I'm sure that there will be a great way to deal with this situation. And I have gone through this with my mother, and I know how difficult it is for any family. And I want to just send a lot of love your way. And thank you for still being here today and doing all the things you do. So with that, I give the mic back to you.
Thank you so much, Levia, for your leadership, and thank you so much, Zizi, for sharing with us, your words of wisdom. And
Simon,
thank you.
Can you hear us?
Yes, thank you so much, Levia. I was actually talking. I was talking to myself, but I was muted, so I was rehearsing for what I'm about to say. I'm just grateful to be here. Every day when I'm here in the Daily African Proverbs, I feel great. I feel like I'm in a sacred space. And so this is a place of nourishment. And I hope that we can continue working together to keep it like that. Thank you, Zizi, for your contribution. And thank you, Ron. And I'm just grateful. I'm hoping that I can hear from, all of our amazing speakers on stage, Beeb, Raphael, Faline, Samantha, and Ivna. And in about 9 minutes, we are going to be turning off hand raising. So if you want to join us and you're in the audience, this would be a perfect time for you to do that. But today we are discussing a proverb from Chad. Every single day at 6 a.m. Pacific Standard Time, we gather here in the Daily African Proverbs on Clubhouse, here in the African Father in America Club. And we are also live streaming this conversation as we speak on YouTube. You can join that conversation. My YouTube channel is Simon Javan Okelo, and you can, leave your thoughts in the chat. We always have a very warm conversation going on over there. But at the end of this room, we also have a recap of today's conversation that happens on Instagram around 7:15 a.m. every single morning. So, there are many ways that you can, lend your voice to this important work. I would love to take this opportunity to introduce the amazing Chido Samantha Mbavarira, who is going to guide the conversation for the next few minutes. Chido, thank you so much for being here with us this morning. Chido is an online business strategist by day and being human on Clubhouse by night. Chido is originally from Zimbabwe, but she has lived in Europe. She currently lives in North America, in Canada, and she has a beautiful African proverb as well that says, if you want to go fast, go alone. If you want to go far, go together. Chido has also been a pillar to these Daily African Proverbs, and she has, consistently helped grow it to what it is today. And we are working behind the scene to even make it better. I won't say much now because we will just show you by the work of our hands in the next few weeks. Chido, thank you so much for being here. The microphone is yours.
Good morning, everyone. Levia, Simon, so good to be here and starting the day with our ancestors. I see that my sister Samantha is on stage, so I'm very, very excited to hear from her, someone who I've had so much privilege of growing and learning from. This proverb is amazing. I loved Zizi's interpretation, and as always, Zizi's so powerful when she comes on stage. And I really appreciated Ron's interpretation. Kind of like what Levia says, people come in and totally take us another place. And I loved the sentiments of foundation, foundation, foundation. The proverb today, only when a tree is big and strong can we tether a cow to it. I woke up this morning and I read it, and usually it takes me a long time or some time to really sit with some of the proverbs, but this one was very quick. I think I connected with this very quickly because it really reminds me of what I'm really trying to do in this season is preparing myself. I hear preparation and discernment in this because I've said this before in this space. A lot of people wait until they have something before they do the work, so they can be whatever they want to be. So people wait until they have the time. People will wait until they have the money. People wait until they have more education. We're waiting so much to have things so we can be what we've been called to be. And when I read this proverb from the ancestors, I really feel they're telling us, who do you need to be? We should be ready, trying to be big and strong like the tree, and then everything we want, the cow is the reward of our labor. Like Ron said, it's our foundation. And many times we're focused on having more so we can be in a place of worthiness. And I really I gravitate to this proverb because it's a reminder of who we need to be first. Like everything we have is already inside us. We need to really lean into those sentiments, really lean into our discernments, really lean and be prepared to receive our gifts. If the cow is the gift, I ask, what is the gift you're waiting to receive? Is it opportunities? Is it a new position? Is it the love of your life? Is it peace? Everything you want, we have to be prepared to receive. And when I pray, my prayers are usually not to want more, but will I please have the shoulders um, to bear the burden, to bear the heavy weight of all my gifts. I think that's a different way to ask for whatever you want in this world is, can I be ready and prepared to receive? So I truly, truly loved this proverb, but I have the pleasure of welcoming Beatrice and hearing her interpretation. Beatrice, you're somebody who I've come so fond of hearing speak. I appreciate you showing up, whether it's actively listening or coming up and sharing what comes up for you. It's always a pleasure. Um, Beatrice is a child of war. She's a refugee, but more important, she's a war survivor, a trauma survivor. And if there's anything I have learned through this month of learning Beatrice more, is she fills us with so much hope, and she truly believes happiness is an inside job. Don't assign it to anyone else. That much more power over you, over your life. I appreciate you, Beatrice. I would love to hear your interpretation of the proverb. Only when a tree is big and strong can you tether a cow to it. Beatrice, the mic is yours.
Thank you so much. Thank you, Chido. Thank you, Levia, Simon, Samantha. Hi. And hi, Umi, Zizi. Good to see you. And hi, everyone. I really love this proverb. And I would say a tree, before it's planted, it's a seed. And when it's planted as a seed, it's whole. And before it can grow, it has to go through this darkness, and it has to break its shell before it can push through the soil. And of course, then the growing process starts. But we all don't know how long it goes through all that fight while trying to come through and create the big tree for us. And that's with almost everyone's life, really. It's like we don't know what um, no one knows what anyone goes through before they can grow out and shine. And for the tree, for the cow to be tethered to the tree, meaning like to be tied to it, it has to be grown in big first. But I would say it doesn't necessarily have to be grown big and ready first, because if you cater to the cow and you go water it and you hold on to the cow and you move around with it, you don't necessarily have to tie it to the tree to hold on to it. Because sometimes when you I feel sorry for the tree. Sometimes I feel like I can relate to it, because it's like when they're being held on too tight, it's like they can't breathe. But that's just my take, only because I feel so strong to trees as well. Yes, I'm a tree hugger, but not to that extent. But yeah, just with everything, there's always an on and off button. So it's like if we take everything in our lives with good care, we won't have to hold on to it too tight. To me, that's pretty much just what I'm trying to say. It's like take care of everything in your surrounding and let them breathe as well. I know it's completely off of today's proverbs, but it's like that's just my take for it. So thank you so much, and I am complete.
Cheers speaking. Beatrice, I loved your interpretation. It was really in alignment because I totally understood what you were saying, and like staying rooted and taking care of the tree. I think the proverb is really talking about the cow, but I think you bring a very interesting perspective of taking care of the tree to be big and strong. So I appreciate you coming up. Always appreciate you sharing wisdom with us. Thank you so much, Beatrice, for joining us. Next, we're going to be hearing from Raphael. Raphael is somebody who loves to come out and share his knowledge with us. He is a stay-at-home dad. He's a podcaster. He's a big-time nerd. He loves soccer. He's Brooklyn-based, but deep, deep roots in Nigeria and Ghana. Raphael, it's always a pleasure to see you on stage. Would like to hear your interpretation of the proverb today. Only when a tree is big and strong can you tether a cow to it. A beautiful proverb from Chad. Raphael, we pass the mic to you.
Greetings, everybody. Um, sending love and support to everyone in need of that. And yes, it is. I'm a big believer in the word no. Doesn't mean because I support everyone, I do not apply the word no. So yes, Brother Simon, you're right. You have every right to say no and apply it as applicable. So today's proverb um, speaks to some agricultural skill set that I've, some agriculture in my life. When you plant a tree, I use the baobab tree, which is much more common in the middle belt region into the northern region of Nigeria, which is a very huge tree. It's very wide, big tree. You can look it up. Has a great, if you find some stuff, it's also common in Senegal, the Sahel region of Africa, West Africa. You find, I think into East Africa too, you can find it, and some, I'm pretty sure Northern Africa. And you can, the juice is delicious. The fruit also has a good taste. But the size of the tree is as a full-grown tree. You have that size, a giant big tree, which you can. Yes, I have a competitor here too. She's giving her voice. Today is her birthday, so she's in everything I'm doing. Um, you can tether a cow to the giant tree when it's an adult, full-grown tree. But when it's young, when it's still a seedling, you can't do that. So if it's a young tree still growing and you come tether your cow to the tree, that is absolute foolishness because that's the wrong thing to do. It means you don't want to see that cow. You may as well just hand over the cow or advertise it to the rustlers to come take the cow. So I look at it like placing a burden on people or placing a burden on someone when it's not yet their time. A burden that they don't need in their life. I can equate that to telling someone when they haven't even figured out what they want to do in their life, and you start telling them, when are you going to get married? When are you going to get married? When are you going to get married? The person does not even know what career they want, what city they want to settle down in, what do they want, or they haven't even defined who they are. But if you start beating them with the burden of marriage, and they listen to that marriage, you've tethered them to a marriage, a relationship that they don't need at that moment. So they're not a full-grown baobab tree. And now you've attached a cow to them, and then that person collapses. The cow easily pulls the tree away because it's not a full-grown tree, so it can't hold the weight of the cow. A full-grown tree, the cow can't pull it. It can't shake it off. So yeah, it doesn't have any effect on the tree. The tree can withstand storms, can withstand the wind, can withstand everything, including the cow tied to it at the same time. So we should allow people to grow. we should stop uh, forcing whatever we think is right on people and allow people to be themselves, allow them to be water. People are water. We take whatever form or shape that we are supposed to take in whatever containers that we find ourselves. But if everyone is telling you you must follow this God, you must follow this uh, religion, you must follow this love, you must follow this standard because this is what I was told, this is what I expect of you, this is what you must, you are attaching a burden that many people do not need, and then you start creating, you start, pulling them down, unfortunately, without seeing you might not see it at that moment because sometimes the cow might not even think of it to pull. But if the cow realizes that it can move, the cow will just pull and then the tree is gone. So that's the interpretation that I choose to go with today. I return back to building a castle for my daughter right now. All right. And you all have a good day. Yes, I'm coming back. Okay. All right. Thank you very much. And you all have a great day.
Chido speaking. Raphael, thank you so much for being a great father because you took time on your daughter's birthday not only to share with us, but I think your interpretation very much aligns with the parent you want to be and allowing your children to be their own tree and not what you wish them to be. But it was so much in alignment of just letting the tree be the tree and grow in whatever way it's supposed to. And I think that is a very beautiful sentiment about parenting and being a parent and allowing your children to have growth. Happy birthday to your daughter. I hope you enjoy your day with her. We are truly honored that you took time to come and share your interpretation with us. I hope you guys have a great day together. I'm excited to hear from Samantha. Evener is also on stage. Makuva is amazing. I haven't heard you speak in a long time. I'm very excited. And Marlon, welcome. You were going to be hearing from you guys shortly, but I also want to say hello to Tara, Joan, Chioma, Austin, Fido, Dee, Mama Yama. Thank you so much for always coming in and actively listening or coming on stage. A special welcome to Teresa Brown. I see you're new on Clubhouse. I hope you found a little place to call home here. This is the Daily African Proverbs Room. We host this room every day at 6 a.m. Pacific time, hosted by Simon, our fierce leader. He is the African father in America. And what we try to do is curate spaces where we change the narrative of Africa. So if you're from the continent, love the continent, this is a place where you can get your cup filled with teachings directly from the ancestors as we dissect African proverbs to make our ancestors smile. It's always a good day for me when I start the day here, but whatever time zone you're in, I hope that this is a timely message that you need to hear. And I'm excited to hear from everyone else who's going to be sharing more with us. With that, Simon, I'm complete. I pass the mic back to you.
Thank you so much, Chido. I'm so grateful that you're here, and I'm also grateful to everyone that has chosen to spend, your morning or evening, or night or day with us here in the Daily African Proverbs. We are discussing a proverb from Chad, and the proverb itself says that only when a tree is big and strong can you tether a cow to it. We've been, enjoying this whole conversation for the last 39 minutes. We've been learning, from each other, and I can't wait to hear, from Samantha and our brother Ivna. We are hosting Ivna this Saturday. We should have hosted him on Friday night at 8:30 p.m. in the African Wisdom Club, but we want to accommodate a number of guests, similar to what we did with Zizi yesterday, during this time that we do the Daily African Proverbs, so that we can, make the Daily African Proverbs dynamic, but also accommodate the schedules of some of our guests that are in time zones that 8:30 p.m. does not work. So you should check Brother Ivna's profile out, and he will share with us where you can get a copy of his book, because on Saturday he will be reading some excerpts from the book, similar to what Zizi did yesterday. So I can't wait for that. I want to pass the microphone to Levia so that Levia can guide the conversation for the next few minutes. Levia, could you tap your mic if you're there? I just want to make sure. Wonderful. I'll pass you the mic, my dear.
Thank you, Simon. Yes, I'm here. I've been listening, and it's very insightful and interesting as usual. But I also been singing this little. I just wanted to sing it. African father in America. I love that little tune that you're playing in the beginning and in the end, and it's always like in my head.
It's supposed to be in your head like that,
we move forward. The next guest on our stage is Samantha, which I haven't heard from a while as well. And Samantha is MPH, Clinical Research Program Manager, otolaryngology. I completely don't know how to pronounce this word. I'm so sorry, Samantha. 15 plus years American English experience, drug device trials, community health advocate, creative culinary entrepreneur, and cake designer. African culture enthusiast. She says, here to learn, love, and give value. Okay, Samantha, we are very, very, very curious for your interpretation of our proverb today, which I will repeat for you. It says, only when a tree is big and strong can you tether a cow to it. So please, Samantha, take the mic.
Hey, Levia and Samantha, just want to also give a special shout out to Samantha. She's also a huge contributor and also a co-creator of some of our programming here in the Daily African Proverbs. So Saturdays, Samantha is actually, leading most of the conversation. She inspired the Saturday sessions where we bring children into this space. So Samantha, feel free to speak to that as well. And thank you for being here. It means a lot.
My apologies, Samantha. I should have said that too. And of course, you are a big part of our Daily African Proverb. So much love to you, and the mic is yours.
Oh, thank you so much, Levia and Simon. Good morning. Happy Monday. Oh, usually it's TGIF, but you know what? It's a new week. We thank God for life and breath, and I'm going to declare Happy Monday. We don't know what the week has ahead of us, but you know what? We're living in the present, and I'm just really grateful to be here on stage and to be able to, just share my thoughts about around this proverb that we have. Yes, as Simon had mentioned, I lead with Sister Rejoice, who I don't think she's in the audience right now, but and Simon and the crew on Saturdays to bring African proverbs to our little people. As Levia mentioned, I'm, into culinary creative arts. And so you'll hear me from time to time mention food in some way, shape, or form. But yeah, when it comes to the African daily proverbs and inviting our children, honestly, it was really birthed out of this impression that I got that we were just feasting on African proverbs and really being made full and whole, and I really felt like without bringing our children to the table, we were, kind of being a little bit selfish. So, inviting our children and our nephews, nieces, cousins, grandmas, grandpas, all our loved ones, to this space on Saturdays is a wonderful way of just bringing them to the table so that we can all eat and enjoy from the wonderful wisdom of our ancestors and of from each other, because we are our descendants, ancestors. So, about today's proverb. So, I'm actually going to go with my first impression, though I must say that in hearing other people's interpretations and also allowing the proverb to sit, my mind has been expanded really in what the proverb means. But my first impression when I read it was that actually the reality of life is that we often are dealt with hands that appear so much bigger than what we can bear, and so really life tethers to us major cows, major cows, that we often, at the point of the tethering, we feel like, oh my gosh, God, not another challenge, not another burden. Maybe we've just come out of a situation that, we've just caught our breath and then boom, life tethers another thing to us. And I felt like that many a times where I know people in America have probably been familiar with this song about I'm not your superwoman. I don't know if people remember that song from back in the days, but anyway, neither here nor there. But just this sense that I don't want to be a superwoman. I don't want to be a superman. I just want to just breathe. And yet life will tether illness, whether it's our own illness or ailments or that of our loved ones. Caregiving, where we're called to care for people that we hadn't planned to, intended on, especially as we grow older, our parents are aging, and we may be called to become their caregivers. That may feel like a tethering of a cow to our tree. Financial situations, certainly during the COVID. We're still in it, but the early days of COVID, many people were, it felt like the rug was just pulled from underneath our feet. And many of us did not have plan B, C, D, or E, and so we felt like another burden has been tethered to our being. But you know what? One thing that I've learned over the years is that sometimes I might feel like I'm a fig, but I'm actually a tree, you know? Um, Life has been preparing me for those tetherings through different situations and circumstances. And I trust that God does not give me more than I can bear. And I want to share that word with someone. God is not going to give you more than you can bear. And I think that is that is what I'm feeling from this proverb. So even though it says only when a tree is big and strong that you can tether a cow to it, don't doubt that you may actually be a tree, and that you actually have the tools, and whether it's the inner fortitude or even the tools around you, sometimes you just have to open your eyes a little bit wider to see that actually you can weather this storm that you find yourself in. And lastly, I just want to share this word that resonates with me. It's from the Bible. Some of you may not subscribe to the Bible, but I think the words still ring true. It says, not only so, but we also glory in our sufferings because we know that suffering produces perseverance, and perseverance produces character, and character produces hope. So if you're finding yourself in a situation that you feel like is a little bit too much for you to bear, I think just trust that, you're good. You will be good. And yeah, and open your eyes. Maybe there are some resources that you can, um, you know, just draw on to help your little fig become more of a tree. I'm Samantha, and I'm done speaking. Thank you.
Thank you, Samantha, for what you said. And there was so much wisdom in that. I can, one thing you said, which I really loved, was I feel like a fig, but I'm actually a tree. And I trust that God will not give more burden to me than I can actually deal with. So I also love that you said life is tethering cows to 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 our existence. And yes, it was so beautiful words, and I let this sit with me, and I'm sure the room will too. And I also wanted to point out that I think I've been sleeping on your profile a little bit when I announced you, because you lost your number, and I think I was kind of confused, but I just wanted to let the room know that Samantha also is a out of this world cake maker, and it's called the Art Your Kitchen, and you're welcome to check out the internet. Sorry, now I'm a little confused. The Instagram profile, and the cakes are beautiful. I don't eat cake because I'm trying to stay away from sugar, but when I looked at the Audio Kitchen's cakes, I was like, oh my God, if I would have a cake in front of me like this, I would really be wanting to try it. They are beautiful, so please check them out. And with that being said, I'm going to move on to introduce our next guest. And I have, this is a difficult name for me to pronounce, and I will try my absolute best. So I would say Evener. I hope that was right. If not, please do let me know once you start speaking how to pronounce your name properly. And he says, author of the book Alike Regardless, motivational speaker on diversity and inclusion, digital marketer and networker. So please, Ivana, the mic is yours.
Thank you very much, Levia, and thank you, Simon, Chido, Samantha, and everyone in the room this morning. I am so honored to be here to share this space with you and to share this wonderful proverb. And I have been in love with the daily African proverb, uh, and and I love the African proverbs because they bring so much wisdom. And starting my day, uh, listening to this show, it's like a morning breakfast, to give me wisdom, to remind me that, you know, it's going to be okay. Everything is going to be okay. And this proverb, you cannot tie a tree, you cannot tie a. All right, let me go, but let me read the proverb. So
Do you want me
please,
to repeat it for you?
yes, please.
I, I'm so sorry. I should have done this. Only when a tree is big and strong can you tether a cow to it.
Yes, only when a tree is big and strong, you can tether a cow to it. And I like to look at the big and strong tree as something that represent love, something that represent goodness and peace. Because these things, love, goodness, and peace, when you have them, you can conquer, you can be victorious. There was a saying in Latin that says nemo dat quod non habet. In English, it means you cannot give what you don't have. If you don't love yourself, you will be hard pressed to do the same for others. If we don't know what we look like inside, we won't realize that others are just like us. When I saw this proverb, and I wasn't thinking of it tying a cow to a tree, but we as human can be that strong and big tree to each other so that we can peacefully coexist on this planet. The first step to improve ourselves inwardly is to treat ourselves better. This way, we can express that change outwardly towards our fellow human. We can break down walls and see ourselves in others. When we have that consciousness of equality, we are bound to treat others better than we already doing. Let's continue to be a tree, a strong and big tree to each other, creating a safe space for our brothers and sisters. Be someone that be a shoulder to someone else, just the same way we expect others to be a shoulder to us. This is my interpretation of this proverb. You cannot give what you don't have. In order for you to be able to love someone else, we must first love ourselves. My name is Yvnair Dorso, and I have spoken. And I wanted to say this coming Saturday, and thank you for hosting me on this platform as well. And I will be sharing with you a few paragraphs of my book. If anyone here already have the book, you can follow along with me. You will be able to ask me some questions. And if you don't already have it, uh, you have Amazon Prime. It can be shipped within 1 to 2 days. So, or if you're fast, you like Kindle, you can get the Kindle version as well. It's available on Amazon and other bookstores like BarnesandNobles.com and Target.com and these other places. Thank you so much for having me this morning, and thank you in advance for hosting me this coming Saturday. And I yield the mic to
Brother
Don.
Ivna, this is Simon. Could you also share with us the name, the title of your book, so that everybody in the room can know the title, so that they can get it? I'm going to have a copy of mine. I'm hoping to read parts of it before the conversation this Saturday at 6 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. Thank you so much. I think I should yield the mic to Levia, right?
Yes, the title of the book is Alike Regardless. This is where it began. Alike Regardless. This is where it began. So if you go to Amazon and you just type Alike Regardless, or you just type my name, you will find that book. It has a cover with several hands together and a globe inside. Thank you. And I yield the mic to Levia.
thank you so much, Ivana, for your interpretation and also for letting us know where we can find your book. I'm very excited for your feature in with Simon on this Saturday. So I hope everybody has been taking notes from from all the things that have been said, and I cannot wait for hearing some paragraphs of your book and finding out more about you and your work. And the lastly, what stood out for me, what you said about the proverb today, you cannot give what you don't have. And I think most of the things you said as your interpretation, they were really very much along the lines of what I said earlier, just more articulate, and you took it a little further. It was really great to hear your thought process. As I said, I'm always very literal. I always look at the hands-on straight words that comes to my mind, and it was great to hear what you had to say to it. And yes, so very excited to get to meet you and hear more. Simon, I'm going to yield the mic back to you. I introduced two of our guests, and this is Levia. I'm done speaking. Thank you all.
Thank you very much, Levia, for your leadership, and thank you, Ivner, for being here with us. Now we are going to hear from Makuba. Makuba is such a wonderful, human leader, and Chido is going to introduce Makuba. Oh, actually, we'll pass it to Jay to introduce Makuba and Marlon. And if you're meeting Jay for the first time, she performed at Madaraka Festival, which was last month. I can't believe how fast these things are moving. And, she's also an amazing poet. She's a playwright. She's also a spoken word artist and a creator of a club just for children, pretend singer, musician, and just an amazing leader based here in Seattle, Washington, like myself, and also a very passionate contributor to the Daily African Proverbs. And I am grateful for everything. Jay, the mic is yours.
Good morning, dear brother, and good morning or whatever time of day it is for everyone in this room. I wish all of you an excellent day. I love the title of that book, Alike Regardless. It's just no matter what we try to do or what we think or where we live, that we are so much more alike than we are different. And if we could just focus on that, what a much better world we would have. So I look forward to hopefully being able to be in the room on Saturday to hear him discuss his book. That's portions of his book. Regarding this proverb, the first thing that came to mind for me just had to do with children. Is that, they're young, they're innocent, they're fragile, they have a desire to do more than what they really, really can. They're excited about life, they're excited about learning, they're excited about growing. Every little thing that they do is really thrilling for them. But they're still really, really young. They still have a lot to learn. They don't have the wisdom. They don't have the skill. They don't have the knowledge. They don't have the training. They don't have the ability. They don't have the strength to do some of the things that they really want to try to do. And they're just really, really eager to do it. And for those that are raising them, to have the wisdom to know that you're not ready to take this on yet. I know you can't bear that weight yet. You can't bear that burden yet. You can't handle that responsibility yet. I'm aware of that about you. Even though you're eager or excited to do something, you can't walk a bulldog at your age. You can only walk a poodle at your age. So anyway, that's what came to mind that when I read this proverb. It's just not only knowing yourself, but also from my perspective and angle as a child, someone also recognizing that about you, that you're not ready to have the weight or the burden or the responsibility of something as strong as a cow tethered to you. And that cow has to do with just certain responsibilities, requirements, or demands in life. And this is Jay. I'm finished with that proverb. Makuba, if I can introduce you, being purely African, although born in California. You're a public health professional, an agile coach, an interior designer. Ooh, an interior designer. Transformational and motivational speaker, network marketer, film writer, an advocate against sexual abuse and human trafficking. I love that. There's so much more about you being a disciple of Christ, just of Christ, not religion, a Bitcoin enthusiast. So you have a very, very, very long bio, which means you have a very, very involved life that allows you perhaps to hang on to that cow. And I certainly look forward to hearing your interpretation of this proverb. This is Jay, and Makuba, I am yielding the mic to you.
Thank you, Jay. Thank you, Simon. Chido, it's great to see you and all the rest of the moderators. I so love the Daily African Proverbs. I feel our ancestors are a clear example of using what they had to be able to speak wisdom in life. And so when I look at an African proverb, I always try to dissect the symbolism of what exists at that time. A tree from biblical principles is the tree of life. And if we look at a tree, we look at ourselves. Because when you go and you stand on a tree, it gives you shade. It can provide rescue. And adversity and pain, the winds that come from Mother Nature, when a tree is strong and in its foundations and its roots, it doesn't fall. This reminds me of a bamboo tree. You have to continue watering it and taking care of it for 4 years before you see it shoot. But when it shoots in 5 weeks, it goes to 90 feet. In our lives, we have to be strong. Our thoughts create our minds in what we think. And what we believe is what will happen. And I feel our ancestors had a way of using nature to be able to speak this to children a lot and to elderly people as well. So don't give up. Be that strong foundation so that when the winds come, which they will, because adversity is not prejudice, it's not respective of race or age or religion. You will be able to stand the storms and enjoy the success of being positive, persistent, and resilient. And this is Makuba, and I'm done speaking. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Makuba. I truly, truly appreciate it. Your interpretation and the way you dissected the proverb. We're looking at ourselves. But also I've learned about that bamboo and you have to water it and take care of it and nurture it, just making sure it doesn't dry out, making sure that it's well tended to for 4 years, and then in 5 weeks it can grow to 90 feet. I just learned something brand new. So that's right, that our ancestors they use nature a lot. They use their surroundings, what they see, what they experience in their own life, but it applies to us. And that you're so correct. Thank you so much, sister, that adversity is no respecter of persons, and that you need to have some deep, deep roots in order to withstand some of the storms in life. Thank you so much. I appreciate your share. With that, I'd like to turn it over to Marlon. Marlon, I've seen you, of course, many, many times in this room. So happy to have you here today, and that you have all sorts of superpowers. You say, Marlon, you bloom, your mother, lioness to my alpha male, person of color, open-hearted, second generation Mexican American. I remember before you described for us and you went into detail and made it more clear, more specific what you meant by which. And I really, really, really appreciated that. I appreciated your share. You're a music junkie, you're a CD collector, and you're a spiritual student of life. You just have also a long list of things that make you who you are, what you love, what you enjoy as a book lover. So hopefully you'll be able to come in Saturday and listen to some of the excerpts of the book. Marlon, please, I yield the mic to you.
Thank you, sis. I appreciate you, Jay. Thank you. Um, I'll make it real quick because I love coming in this room, but I am working at this time. So what I gathered from it, what I heard, um, and so what I interpreted is I'm like the tree, and I have to make myself safe and peaceful and spiritually fit, because my spirituality is just, it's every day. I can't rest on my laurels from yesterday. So as long as I'm strong in spirit, I can be that strong tree. And I like what Akuba just said a moment ago. I'll be able to provide shade for others because my cup will be overflowing. I can pour from my saucer, not from my cup. And I can have that spiritual strength on a daily basis. It's just contingent on my daily spiritual practices that I have each day. And coming into rooms like this that fill my cup even more, so that I can give to others, but only when my cup is full. There was another thing that I had thought of. Oh, yes. The first thing that came to mind when I first heard the proverb this morning is that, like, when I'm on an airplane, I put my mask. They say, put your mask on first. It's like my tree has to be strong first before I put the mask on someone else, before I can give the shade, before I can give from my overflow. So that's what I gathered from it. I appreciate you having this room. As always, Simon, Chido, Jay, I love you. I love you all. If you're listening here, I love you. I see the regulars. Baby, Tara, all of you, I love you so much. And if you're new, this is an amazing room, so keep coming back and follow African Father in America, and also Simon on Instagram, because he posts what the Proverbs were and people, our interpretations, and gives us a chance to give our interpretations there too. This is a really, really, really good room, and you guys manage it so well, just like with so much love and just thoroughly, and I appreciate that so much. Thank you so much. Bye-bye. Have a good day.
Thank you so much, Marlon. And I really appreciate the fact, I'm going to start with the fact that you called out some names. And when you do that, that really does make people feel special. And I heard that not too long ago, is that you need to call a person by their name and truly, truly acknowledge them. And I did the same thing yesterday when I was shopping for something, is that I actually saw that person's name tag and called that person by name. And that person was so taken back. And they said, well, what's your name? And so thank you so much for doing that. And you're absolutely right about using the example of the plane and putting your mask on first. You want to make sure that you're safe, that you're okay, that you've taken care of your spirituality, not only your physical safety, but your spirituality as an example as well, before you can also help someone else. So you want to make sure that your mind and your spirit is safe, and that you have taken care of your spirit, and that your cup is full. And one of the ways to fill your cup is to be in a safe place where your heart and your mind can be at peace. Thank you so much, Marlon. Anytime you come in this room, you're just really a cup of cold water. You're so refreshing. I appreciate it. And with that, I'd like to yield the mic back to Simon.
Wow, thank you. Thank you very much, Jay, and thank you very much, Marlon, for being here with us. I am grateful. Chido, thank you again for taking the time to join us for today's session, and to everybody else in the room. This has been an amazing, daily African proverb session. A few things that you can do to support. One is follow the African Father in America Club here on Clubhouse. Two, follow me on Instagram, where you can actually join us for the recap of the daily African proverbs. We are going to go through what stood out, what was surprising, and what was the biggest lesson today. That's all for now. I will be seeing you tomorrow, 6 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. That's 4 p.m. East African Time. Please convert it to your time zone so that you know when it's happening. But Saturday, we will be hosting Ivna. And, I'm just so excited to see you all tomorrow, and see you in the recap session on Instagram in just a moment. Take care of yourselves.
African Father in America. Tujikaze, tujikaze, jikaze. Tujikaze, tujikaze, jikaze. African Father in America. Tujikaze, tujikaze, jikaze.
You are listening to Africa.